Hey everybody, it's Chris from Guilty Words, where we unravel crime one word at a time. My apologies, but right now I'm not at home, and the place where I'm staying doesn't have either good lighting or actually good internet. And I really want to get this video up before Lori's trial starts tomorrow. So in order to save time and bandwidth, I'm going to do a voiceover style. At the end of last week, Lori did another interview with Arizona True Crime, and I'll link it in the description below. It's really worth listening to. But I wanted to focus on one particular thing she said, and that was her reasons for defending herself. And I think what she revealed was more than she intended to, and shows us that this trial really is not about justice for Charles at all. It's about Lori. Let's take a look at what she said together. Let's take a quick look at why some defendants choose to defend themselves. Sometimes there's a distrust of the attorneys or the legal system. Such was the case with Ted Bundy. In 1979, in his Florida trial, he chose to defend himself because he didn't trust his attorneys and thought he would be better at manipulating the system. He was wrong. Sometimes there's a desire for control over the defense. That was the case with Colin Ferguson. In his 1995 trial, the Long Island Railroad shooter had a bizarre defense about someone else using the gun, despite overwhelming evidence that he was the one that had done it. He was found guilty on all counts. Sometimes a defendant will have an incredible belief in their own innocence or their own legal knowledge. That was the case with Ronnie Lee Gardner. He was actually convicted in 1985 and spent the next 25 years studying law as his appeals went through on his death penalty case. In 2010, at his death penalty hearing, he chose to defend himself and argued that his entire case should be dismissed and he should be freed because 25 years on death row constituted cruel and unusual punishment. The court didn't agree, and he was executed. Some defendants don't really intend to mount a defense. They just want a chance to make a political or ideological statement. Such was the case with Zacarias Moussaoui, who was one of the people responsible for the 9/11 attacks in the United States. He spent his trial railing against the U.S. Sometimes mental health or personality factors make a defendant want to defend themselves. As we've seen with Lori, just because someone is diagnosed with a mental illness doesn't mean that they don't have the capability legally of defending themselves. Such was the case with Darrell Brooks, who was found guilty of driving his car into the Washika Christmas parade, deliberately killing several people. He used a bizarre pseudo-legal sovereign citizens movement defense and had to be removed from the courtroom several times for outbursts and angry behavior. He was found guilty on all counts. And last but not least, we have Lori, who may have some of all of these for motivation, but also has another one that's all her own. We'll talk about that shortly.
I want to be able to go and talk to the people who have stood up and lied about me. I get to face them face to face. I think that's important. I don't necessarily think that I'm going to do a better job than the attorneys can do. That's not my intention. My intention is to say the things that I would say for myself. I mean, I sat there during a whole trial and I discussed a lot of things with my attorneys and asked them to say very specific certain things that were important to me, just as a person, as a human being. These things are important that you say this for me, and they wouldn't say it. So, and I get the professionalism and I get what they're doing, but sometimes you just have to be able to do it for yourself.
So let's sum up the top 3 reasons Lori wants to defend herself at trial. She said, I want to be able to go and talk to the people who have stood up and lied about me. I get to face them face to face. I think that's important. So she wants to force a confrontation with the people she's angry with. And this is her way of being able to do that. It has nothing to do with cross-examination or getting evidence or trying to get to the truth or even to prove her innocence. She wants a chance to tell them what she thinks about them. Her second reason, I don't necessarily think I'm going to do a better job than the attorneys can do. That's not my intention. My intention is to say the things that I would say for myself. I mean, I sat there during a whole trial and I discussed a lot of things with my attorneys and asked them to say very specific, certain things that were important to me just as a person, as a human being. These things are important that you say this for me. And they wouldn't say it. So the second reason she wants to defend herself? To say everything she wants that is important to her. The fact that she's even hearkening back to the first trial in Idaho shows that what she wants to bring up in court isn't related to Charles Vallow in this case. It's related to things that she wants to say in open court so everybody hears them. So once again, the trial isn't about Charles, it's about her opportunity to say what she wants. So first she confronts the people she wants to confront, and then she gets to say her piece, whatever that might be. And third, she says, and I get the professionalism and I get what they're doing, but sometimes you just have to be able to do it for yourself, in regards to why the lawyers would not say what she wanted them to say. So in other words, she knows what she has to say is unprofessional and shouldn't be said in open court. She knows if she had a lawyer now, they wouldn't do it. But she's going to be up there and she's going to have a chance because once the words are out, they're out. The judge can admonish her, but the words are out, and that's what she wants. So her three main reasons: she wants to force a confrontation, she wants to say everything that's important to her, even though she knows that it's not going to fly in court. But let's have a little pop quiz. What is missing from all of this? In all of her theories about what she wants to spout out in open court, what is she not talking about? Anything to do with the case. There is nothing in here about proving her innocence or proving that Alex did kill Charles in self-defense. There is nothing here about wanting to clear her name. Nothing. Nothing to do with the case at all. It's all about there are people I want to confront and there are things I want to say. Incredibly selfish, incredibly narcissistic. So when we look back at these reasons that defendants go pro se, yeah, she has a distrust of attorneys in the legal system. Or, more importantly, she wants to control her defense. And not even so much her defense, she wants to control the narrative. She does believe in her own legal knowledge, because in the interview she mentioned how she'd had 5 years to study law and she was really smart and had listened a lot during her Idaho trial. As for making a political or ideological statement, I wouldn't say ideological is quite the word for Lori. She wants to make a statement, but not necessarily ideological. Mental health or personality factors? Well, she is capable of standing trial, but there are some mental health issues there, although there seems to be some debate about exactly what. But then there's Lori's reason. Why does she want to go pro se? Well, essentially, narcissistic revenge and grandstanding. This is her last chance to talk to the people that she's angry with and to have such a large audience listening to her. And she's found the perfect way to make sure that she gets what she wants. She's defending herself. So conclusions, I think this trial, if Lori has her way, will turn into a circus. At first I was confused on why she was bothering to mount much of a defense at all. Why not be like one of those defendants we talked about who just stood up there and spouted what she wanted to? But I think there's two things going on here. I think there's Lori wanting to have her say, and then there's Lori also wanting to present herself as competent and smart. So she will mount a defense, but in it, she will roll in all these other motivations. Besides, if she doesn't mount a defense, she doesn't get through each and every witness she wants to, so she can face them one-on-one. My heart goes out to the witnesses, be they police, family members, whomever, because this has to be one of the most bizarre and painful situations they could be in. I think the best conclusion of all will be when Lori is just back in prison and we don't have to hear about this anymore. The trial should be about justice for Charles, and hopefully justice will be done. But in the meantime, Lori has made it very clear that she intends to say a lot of things that are not related to the trial and are only related to her ego. Thanks for joining me. And if you've enjoyed this content and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We'd love to have you back. And also, write in the comments below what you think is going to happen during this trial. I'll be doing as many segments as I can, but my schedule is a little crazy right now. And again, thank you for your patience while I've done the voiceover and you've gotten to just stare at my mug here. And until I see you in the next video, which will have to do with Lori's opening statements, please use your words wisely and well. Take care.